What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mike, and we are here for the finale of Star Trek Iskandar, Down the Rabbit Hole. I remember the title all too soon.
Good work.
Yeah.
You're doing good with names tonight, Mike.
If you are not familiar with us, this is going to be a really odd point to hop into, as this is the ending of an arc, but don't worry, I'm sure you'll be in good company, not only with ourselves, but with the chat. We'll be doing this session without an Izzy, but she will be joining us again for the next game, which will be announced at the end of this very stream. Ooh. I have taken all the energy. It's all mine. I have sapped Kath of all the strength that she might have. And as I'm doing this, which is normally Izzy's role, I have not sworn, which is bad, and I'm sorry. So,
fuck you, Mike.
Fucking
you, Mike.
shit sticks. Shittity fuck. Fuckity shit. Take that, YouTube monetization. We don't need your money. We got a Patreon. By the way, if you end up liking what we do here tonight, which why would you? We do have a Patreon. And
Would you not like us? Please like us.
Please like us. It would be great if you could throw us a wee bit of cash on the old Patreon.
We have never begged for Patreon money before.
What the fuck
is going on?
I don't have a script.
This is what happens when we do the intros now.
God alive, I'm just doing my best with what
Doesn't
God
even
has given.
particularly go to Iskandar.
No, it doesn't.
We're just shills for big trash.
The moment that Mama Izzy's not in town, we're just gonna sell out. Do you want to buy our t-shirts? Go on a Redbubble in 5 minutes. I'm gonna put something up real quick. It's gonna be very Comic Sans heavy. Okay, so now that's all said and done, I think it's time to hand over to our wonderful GM, Emily, who can remind us what happened last time on Down the Rabbit Hole.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, last...
Christ.
So, last time on Down the Rabbit Hole, the crew of the Iskandar had made their way into the weird space bubble. They'd found the crew of the Kruskal, a ship that had gone missing 80 years ago. As far as the crew of the Kruskal were concerned, it had only been 2 weeks. They were a bit put out by this. So the whole ship full of sad people. The Iskandar's going to feel right at home. Tell me I'm wrong. But they'd also found out some of the reasons why this whole mess had occurred in the first place. As a ship had appeared and something had happened to the Kruskal because of this ship, and that ship was called the ISS Amundsen. After a bit of investigation, the crew of the Iskandar decided, nope, we are noping the fuck out of here. We are not having anything to do with this Mirrorverse nonsense. We've read those reports on what happened from when Captain James Kirk found the Mirrorverse people. We've heard rumours about some other times that people have encountered Mirrorverse people. We're not having anything to do with that. So they gathered up this crew of lost people and made their way back out as quickly as they could. Except they didn't really make their way back out as quickly as they could, did they, Samuel Casey?
Someone made a little fucky wucky.
Somebody made a little fucky wucky with their sciencey, didn't they? I don't know what that was about, but that's what I've said. GM's ruling. That's what critical fail on a science roll is called now. And so they got out of the space bubble, and as they left, they discovered 2 things. One, that the probe that they'd found in the center of this ball of black holes and time dilation nonsense, it was a broadcast from the ISS Iskandar, talking about wormholes and a mission involving them. Not quite knowing whether the mission was a success or a failure, and trying to make contact with the ISS Amundsen. And they also learned that instead of the about 18 hours or so that they thought they would have spent in the space bubble on the outside, whereas for them only about 6 hours have passed at most, it's been 2 months.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oops. So we pick back up where we left off as the bridge realise what it is that has happened. Take it away.
I'm assuming, Ensign, then this means there was some miscalculation with our bubble effect from the warp field.
I'm looking into it now, Captain, and he will do a quick kind of. He basically looks at his own working, at how he calculated it, and comes to realize that the mistake was indeed his. And there'll be a moment of touching up panels and saying, "Ah, yes. The error was mine, Captain."
I wasn't looking for a question of fault, Lieutenant. I was... Ensign, I didn't promote you for this. Fuck you. I wasn't looking for anyone's identification of fault, Ensign. I was just trying to find out what happened.
No, and with everything that I can see, the effects of this could have been anticipated and even mitigated against. Yes, there was nothing that we could not have preempted.
But, Ensign, considering the possibility that for being stuck in there for 18 hours, that could have very easily turned into something in the region of 10 years, I think 2 months is far from the worst. However, we're going to drop a beacon just to make sure that... I'd rather that for the moment this area is cordoned off from Starfleet, although then we will get in touch with Starfleet Command. So set a course back to the starbase, Lieutenant Kantos, and
Hi, Captain.
going to see if I can hail the Admiral. And I'll be in my ready room.
Okay, so
Back to starbase Bimpity Boppity, which had numbers, which
437.
437, which were on the tiny thing, which I definitely throw away, and then talk to Admiral Lukashenko.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Name. You doing better with names than Mike?
Yeah. So now I'm going to try to make the incredibly awkward call of "Hi, I'm not dead." So yeah,
Okay.
that's safe for being in the ready room.
Yep. So you gone into your ready room?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to put the subspace.
Captain Nadaria Thorn.
Admiral, I imagine you're somewhat surprised to see me.
Quite, yes. It appears rumours of your demise were perhaps greatly exaggerated.
Well, who can't say that they've always wanted something like that to be said? I apologize then, Admiral. Turns out that the anomaly had been something of, amongst other things, a pocket of micro black holes. The USS Kruskal, a ship missing 80 years ago, was trapped within, but it seems as if there was a time dilation effect. We had reason to believe that they were still alive, that a rescue mission was possible.
Really?
Yes, we have successfully recovered the survivors.
You
From their
have?
perspective, only 18 days have passed. From our perspective, our mission only took about 18 hours. I recall speaking with you barely a week ago, Admiral, about the time dilation effect.
And yet it out here in real space, as it were, it's been 2 months.
Yes, Admiral. Certainly, that is the gist of the summary of events from my side. I hope that we've not missed anything too serious.
Well, you're quite right. There's nothing that's hugely serious that you've missed. It's not exactly like the galaxy's gone to war again or anything like that. So,
Good to know.
the USS Kruskal, though, that's a name I've not heard for some time.
Yes, I wasn't familiar. However, we recovered Captain Young and
Wow.
about a third of her crew.
Interesting. What's the condition of the survivors?
They are there are some injured. They are receiving assistance in sickbay. They are bewildered. They have been broadly brought up to speed, though obviously there'll be a need for some reacclimatization.
Of course, yes. Maybe
There
they're
is
catching up to do.
yes. There is something else, Admiral.
Go on.
It seems that I can't pretend I understand the full of it myself, but it seems that what had affected the Kruskal, what had damaged the ship to leave them trapped in the first place at the behest of at the mercy of this anomaly, was an attack. Something else from a different part of space and time had utilized, I think knowingly, this anomaly. Are you familiar, Admiral, with records of Starfleet officers' encounters with an alternative dimension in which there exists a power known as the Terran Empire?
That is a name I've heard before. Yes.
Likewise, I
You're
knew.
quite sure?
We have scans recovered from the Kruskal of a variant upon an Intrepid class identified as the ISS Amundsen. I'm sure these can be subject to further scrutiny. And we have recorded, we have the records of a transmission left by a probe, which we had not sent into the anomaly. And I believe that it is from an ISS Iskandar. Transmission is my voice, Admiral. It makes comment of a wormhole. Whilst the transmission is patchy and we will do what we can to clear it up, it does not match any transmission that I have made within my last week from my perspective. And the comment of a wormhole makes this deeply concerning. If the Terran Empire sent the ISS Amundsen on some sort of reconnaissance mission into what they believed was a wormhole, where they attacked the USS Kruskal, somehow affecting things from a different reality 80 years in the past, trapping the Kruskal, and then the ISS Iskandar was investigating. I think insofar as I can make this comment, at roughly the same time that the USS Iskandar was attempting to rescue the Kruskal.
Yes, you're right to be concerned, Nadari. That is...
I fear intent, Admiral. That is it. It is one thing if multiple ships have all fallen foul of one complicated spatial anomaly.
Yes, certainly from what you've said, and from my knowledge of incidents, shall we say, involving the Terran Empire, but that does rather match up. They are an aggressive people, in most ways visually similar to ourselves. It appears that in all ways except attitude, that parallel universe is remarkably similar to our own.
Yes, Admiral. I would...
Except for their warlike and conquering nature.
There is more reading I need to do, but I had treated the possibility and the assumption that if we were to encounter the ISS Amundsen rather than merely the wreckage of the Amundsen, then I was anticipated that was going to turn into a fight. I would be grateful, Admiral, if any further documentation records that we have on the Terran Empire could be made available to me.
I can certainly make some things available to you for further study, since you've got yourself involved in this sort of thing. It seems rather pointless to keep those secrets from you.
It was nothing my career had encountered before. I had to go looking.
Yes, quite. We've had very few interactions with the Terran Empire, but enough to know they exist and enough to know what they're like.
In that regard, well, other than observing, I suppose that if further measures need to be taken about this anomaly, I've left a beacon here encouraging anyone to stay back.
Good.
Possibly could be worth dropping a probe which is going to monitor the area and send a transmission if anything is picked up.
That is possibly worthwhile, yes. Some sort of warning.
I would recommend that the anomaly is subject to further scrutiny by a dedicated science ship, a full analysis of it, and the possibility of whether or not we would want to consider some sort of...
Protective measure.
Yes.
Yes, quite. I agree. This... If this is involving a parallel dimension in contact with ours, and specifically that parallel dimension, then it's certainly going to need further study and, well, hopefully nothing needs to be done. Hopefully this encounter is all it will be.
I concur with your hopes, Admiral, and however, I think that we are both in agreement that in this case, hope will be no substitute for cautious action.
Quite right.
What are your orders for the Iskandar, Admiral?
First, how much information do you have on the anomaly, on what has occurred and what encounter you've had with...
Quite a lot. I can see that our records are transmitted to Starfleet Science for further analysis.
No, this troubles me, so I'd rather get started on that research as soon as possible to determine how much of a threat this is.
I concur entirely that this is now a far higher priority, requiring far more resources.
Quite, yes.
And the crew of the Kruskal?
Well, something needs to be done to bring them back into the fold. They've been rather out of things. Have they communicated to you at all what their wishes are?
I admit no, Admiral. Our priority was their safety. I suppose at the very least we would need to be traveling with them for several days to get them to return to dock. That will be time which I would intend to make sure where we do what we can to support them, ask these questions, answer their questions, of course. And I imagine after that we can have them, I'm sure Starfleet can offer support for the temporally displaced.
Yes, no, of course, Starfleet will be quite happy to provide some support to them, and I'm sure some arrangements can be made, most likely back on Earth.
Yes,
I would suspect.
I would assume that the crew of the Bozeman might be called back to assist similarly temporally displaced officers.
Quite, yes.
We will return them to dock, then Admiral will do what we can for them during the journey. Very well.
How are the crew of the Iskandar? You've not mentioned your own crew yet.
Truthfully, we emerged from the anomaly within the last 15 minutes.
I see.
The news has not yet fully done the rounds that we have lost 2 months. I will make sure that that is known. I will, if we are in transit, I am likely to request the opportunity for as many of my crew who wish some leave after this to be granted. Well,
I suppose they have rather earned perhaps more leave than they were expecting.
I suppose technically I've also got, time in lieu.
Quite. Well, I'm glad to hear the Iskandar's unharmed. We had rather assumed the worst, I'm afraid, when the Iskandar disappeared from all records for 2 months. With only a beacon warning that you'd gone somewhere, but no other trace.
Yes, Admiral, I apologise then for causing the concern. We believed that we would protect ourselves, but I knew it would be a gamble anyway. However, we had received the distress call from the Kruskal.
No, this is not a ticking off. I'm quite glad that you're all back, safe and sound.
Thank you, Admiral. We shall report to dock. I will make sure that my crew are given the opportunity to rest and recuperate during the journey, and then afterwards, and we'll make
And
sure
we'll
that the crew of the
determine
Kruskal.
exactly what we can do with Captain Josephine Young and her crew.
Yes.
Gosh. Send those reports to me as soon as possible, though. The science reports. Anything you have on the ISS, Iskandar, and Amundsen.
Yes, Admiral. Right away.
Jolly good.
Oh, thank you, Admiral. Iskandar out. Tharn is going to send 2 messages.
Mhm.
One is going to be to Strange. Not to Strange, for fuck's sake. Fuck's sake.
Subtitle for this episode: Nobody can remember names.
No one can remember names. To Casey. To Samuel Casey.
They've not merged into one
They're
Gestalt entity of
not. They're not
sadness yet.
married. None of
They're
these
married.
things. Strange isn't on the ship.
No, he's fuck knows where.
To Casey. Giving him the instructions of put all of our records from the anomaly, basically all of our scientific logs from the mission and what we've recovered from the Kruskal into a nice tidy data package, for the moment with like a pretty decent level of classification, considering it contains a mirror universe, and that's going to be, as we've discussed, at least lightly classified.
Oh yeah, that is some classified info now.
Yeah, so
You're not sending this to just some random schmuck at Starfleet Science.
yeah, and to dispatch it to Admiral Lukashenko's office.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one, how do you tell your crew this? Oh well,
I don't know, Captain Ladariathon. How do you tell your crew?
It's not going to be a big now
That
hear
instead of
this verbal.
Yeah, how do you tell your crew that instead of 6 hours, it's been 2 months?
Essentially, everyone gets a priority email. Because everyone's got to be told. I have
Red flag.
140 people on this ship, and it's coming from the captain. So this is going to be the kind of thing which like overrides your fucking console and pad. Like, folks, my champs. It will
I'm assuming this is yeah, exactly
verbatim.
Verbatim.
Verbatim. Fam, we got some probs. No, it will be.
Crew, we got some trubs.
Because this is a thought, it will be painfully formal. It will be I thank you all for all the hard work on a successful mission to recover the crew of the Kruskal. We recovered X people, all of those who were alive when we made contact.
Mm-hmm.
We will be returning them to Starbase for their rehabilitation. I regret to inform you that this mission has come with a cost. Whilst measures were taken to protect ourselves from the time dilation effects within the anomaly, it seems these measures were not wholly successful. Whilst shielded from the worst of the effects, whilst only 18 hours have passed for us, it appears that 2 months have passed for the rest of our galaxy. Starfleet Command have been notified. We will be returning to dock immediately. Everyone will have the opportunity to make contact with your friends and loved ones to assure them that we are all hale and hearty. I have made it clear to Starfleet Command that I expect opportunities to be made for people to take what shore leave they require under the circumstances. Please have these conversations in the coming days and weeks with your department heads. Blah, blah, blah. Be mindful everyone will have high priority and differing needs, and we will balance this in accordance with what is necessary. Yeah, Dom's right. We thank you for your hard work, but bitches, I've got to tell you some bad news.
Yep, I've genuinely had one of those emails lately, and it's never good shit when management says thank you for your hard work, because there's always a but.
However,
this is, I mean, it's a good furloughing email because it's already been 8 months without work.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell them about the time in loophole. Like, that's the kind of thing which they're loophole, timey-wimey loophole, like wormhole. Yeah, the union can tell them that. I am not volunteering this information, and I am passing everyone's responsibility for dealing with their shore leave onto talk with your department heads, which is technically following the chain of command, but this means that I only need to worry about my senior staff whining at me for them to take some time off. And technically, they all need to worry about Talandra, which means that no one ever needs to hear it, because she ain't here. So...
we can have as much time off as we want.
That is not the takeaway.
That's what Cantos is taking from this.
Yeah, we don't have a proper full-on like counseling department to be like, you're gonna have some foot traffic.
Oh, we don't. We desperately need one, but we don't have one.
No, well, it's fine. We're gonna go and have some shore leave and party after this.
Be great.
Great. Yeah, that's a Farn's step. Her next step is going to be she's going to try to get what updates she can on how the crew of the Kruskal and whether or not that will include or require a conversation between her and Captain Young. Because they can't just be dumped into a cargo bay for the moment.
Yeah, and yeah,
because we won't have the space to put them up properly.
no.
Probably we can make arrangements to get them into quarters if there's doubling up on guest quarters.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's only going to be like, what, there are only 30 of them, 40
60.
of them? So okay. Well,
But we'll say that yes, you can like, it'll be tight, but you can make arrangements such that people are doubling up on
so it's not a disaster shelter in a cargo bay.
Yeah. It's not a disaster shelter in a cargo bay. 60 people, you can just about accommodate that many people without having to be pitching up sleeping bags in a cargo bay. Yeah. But it'll be a cozy ride back to Starbase 437.
That's fine. It's only a few days. And the best thing to do when a crew have been gently traumatized by this is to change their living arrangements and make them all, give them no personal space. Yeah, so then Athan will try to talk to Young relatively soon.
Okay.
Whether or not that's going to her or bringing her to her ready room, you set the scene.
Right, so I'm assuming by relatively soon you're meaning right, I've put down the phone with the Admiral, sent out the message, right, I gotta go talk to Captain.
Yeah. Make sure that they're not on fire. Make sure that the crew in general aren't on fire. The Kruskal crew aren't on fire. Make sure that living arrangements are being made. So once everything is ticking, then Athan will go to Young.
Okay. I'm going to say that you bring her to you.
Yeah, that sounds
because,
nice.
A conversation captain to captain. That's got to happen in a red room. That can't be happening in either a crammed guest quarters room where it's packed, 3 people in there instead of 1.
Yeah, have her
or in
brought up to
a
the
cargo
ready room.
bay.
Have her politely escorted to the ready room through the back exit for the moment, the back entrance of the ready room, so she doesn't yet go through the bridge.
Yeah.
There's going to be some culture shock here.
Oh yeah, there's going to be some culture shock. Are you set? Who are you sending to go pick her up?
She sends Vance, I guess.
Oh.
Chief of Security, whom she has met. It makes it a polite inviting of a captain who will by an officer who will show her the way.
Cool. So yeah, I assume Athan's waiting in the ready room.
Yep.
And the door at the back slides open, and in comes Vance and Captain Josephine Young.
Captain, thank you, Lieutenant. That'll be all. And Vance leaves without saying anything. It's a
Captain
pleasure
Athan, I assume.
Yes, pleasure to meet you at last. Captain Daria Than, welcome to the USS Iskandar.
Thank you for your assistance, Captain.
We received a distress call, and Starfleet regulations have not changed so much over 80 years that we could do anything but respond.
No, but you still have my thanks.
Of course. Please, have a seat. Can I get you a drink?
Some tea would be lovely.
Of course. Any preference?
Black tea?
By all means. Head to the replicator. I'm not sure if you've had the opportunity to at least experience one of the benefits of being in the late 24th century.
I've spent very little time in the late 24th century so far, Athan. So unlikely, but enlighten me.
Computer. Earl Grey, hot. Cup. Compliments of our replicator system. Sit down. So, I have spoken with Starfleet Command. They are aware of your rescue and your plight. You had, of course, been presumed dead and lost for the last 80 years.
It has been some time, so...
I'm sorry we couldn't recover your ship.
I think she was perhaps beyond repair, or at least beyond easy repair. So,
yes, I fear we anticipated too much risk of enemy action to want to endanger.
I think, given how rough the ride on the way out was, I'm not sure she would have withstood it.
Probably not. But she at least kept you sheltered during your 80 years or 16 days, depending on how you look at it.
Yes.
We are returning to Starbase. We will obviously make you as comfortable as we can and offer what support, whatever answers that we can. There are protocols for this sort of thing. They are a little vague. You aren't the first officers, even from broadly your period, to have been displaced. So,
in some ways, both reassuring and troubling as a statement.
It is, isn't it? I would encourage that if any of your officers wants to seek answers, that they don't do so alone, either just with each other or with any one of our staff who will be, I'm sure our officers will be perfectly happy to assist, not just in utilizing the technology, but also there is a lot that's happened. People, obviously, as I'm sure as you can imagine, officers, your crew may not find answers that they like.
No, I'm not expecting too many positive answers. A lot can happen in 8 decades.
Yes. So we'll try to make you as comfortable as we can. We'll try to answer your questions. And after we arrive at dock, then Starfleet Command will expect and will offer you what support in transition if they can.
Thank you.
It's also a significant concern of Starfleet of the vessel that attacked you, this ISS Amundsen.
Yes, I recall your executive officer mentioning something about a parallel dimension. That's somewhat news to me. I'd certainly not come across this kind of thing before. Is this something that's been made, something that's come up in the intervening period?
As it turns out, I'd had to consult the records. Yes, about 100 years ago, the USS Enterprise, no suffix, had, under
see.
James Kirk, had
Yes, it would be
encountered a parallel warlike, a dimension with a parallel dimension with a warlike power.
It would.
I do not know what encounters have occurred since then, but
See.
I'll be doing some further research. Starfleet will make that information available to me, and we are apprehensive of
I
the
would
possibility that there
appreciate
is a
it
threat.
if Starfleet can also make that information available to myself and my crew. Though I understand if they might be a little hesitant under the circumstances.
I
There's a
can't
lot.
answer that,
No.
I'm afraid. But I understand the desire to get these answers, to understand why this happened to you.
Yes.
Very well. Is there anything I can do for you and your crew in the next few days?
I think it's just going to be a case of us easing into things. There's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of people that will want to find out the fates of.
Yes.
Friends, family, loved ones. And I suspect the answer will be the same in most cases, but your assistance with that and your support, though you've given us a lot of assistance and support already.
I don't view our
Would be
mission
appreciated.
as yet finished.
No, it's not, but
I must say, Captain, I imagine this is going to be an extra burden on yourself. They're still your people and still your crew. They're still in this situation, and whilst I've seen no indication that you should hold yourself responsible, I know that I'd hold myself responsible, at least somewhat, if I were in your shoes.
yes. It's one of those things where you just keep running over what one thing could you have done differently. We could have just sped past that anomalous reading, carried on at steady cruise, warp 5, and maybe we would have missed it. And we wouldn't be here now.
You did your duty as an explorer.
I know.
I have a little comprehension, and only a little comprehension, of the situation you find yourself in as a joined Trill. Whilst I lived through the period, it isn't just that I'm long-lived. I have the you are going to have to, in many ways, become new people. Your lives are going to have to be rebuilt.
Yes.
To live in 2379. And that is a burden and an opportunity. I don't know if it may be of any use, but you may find any ruminations written by joined Trills to perhaps have a little more relevance. If then, I imagine a lot of people are going to point to it philosophies of written by long-lived species who have watched younger races die, which feels...
Yes, I can hear Dr. Sitak now.
Well, Our Vulcans will be like that.
Vulcans will be like that, won't they?
But there is much more of a harsh line drawn. And that is an added difficulty.
Quite. It is entirely likely that pretty much anything that most of us had by way of our lives before this, unlikely that much in some ways remains. But
Yes,
it seems that some things haven't changed so much.
my recollection suggests that whilst that which is personal will be gone for the most part, everything else will in essentials still be the same. The universe is a little bigger now.
Good.
Very well, Captain. I'm going to have to start seeing to my crew. We have, as it transpires,
course.
lost a couple of months on our rescue mission, which, frankly, I rolled the dice and I'll take this outcome. But it's going to be a lot of work over the next few weeks.
Yes.
I hope you have everything you need. I hope you are you are sufficiently comfortable. If there's anything that can be done, please let myself or my XO know, and we shall do everything we can for you and your people.
I'll do so, Thon. And again, thank you. And she'll extend a hand.
Shake the hand, captainly handshake.
Captainly handshake.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. She'll finish her tea, stand up, straighten the uniform.
That is one thing which you are going to find has not improved for the better. It lacks the classic touch.
I suppose I am wearing something of a vintage piece these days. So the colouring doesn't look right on yours. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be yellow, not red.
Things change.
Things change. I'm sure we'll find some way of getting used to them.
No doubt. Good day, Captain.
Good day, Captain. And she leaves and goes back to her crew.
She gets a ferry because she's a captain. Otherwise, Daria-san don't do shit for people.
Right. Which of you am I going to pick on next?
Mike.
Yeah, Mike needs some picking on. Hi.
Hi,
So, your boy.
it's your boy.
It's your boy. Which boy do you want to go with?
Well,
Who's going to be looking for things first?
Casey has active things that he needs to do.
Let's go with him then. Let's pick on the sad boy.
He has to compile the data packets. And because of that and that instruction from the last scene, I imagine it makes more sense that the camera kind of slips onto Samuel Casey. But then once that's done, and once that's sent for review to probably Talandra, he will then go to try and find Camille.
It's not his name.
God damn, I've written it down wrong. Camille.
No!
Come on. I didn't want to do this.
To enlighten chat, we had this conversation before the session started about what this poor sad
Kareem!
Thank you. And Mike managed to come up with both of those mispronunciations and misrememberings.
I put the M and the R in the wrong place.
And then what you added an L. But yes, Kareem.
Kareem, my friend.
Kareem, your friend. I'm sorry.
Hello, Jake. How are you doing? It's good to meet you, Gregory. I'm gonna get his name increasingly wronger.
Just don't accidentally call him Adam. That'd be weird.
That would be
Don't do
weird.
that.
God, Adam.
Yes.
Fuck. No, that can wait.
No. I mean, can it? Can it? It's up to you.
No,
Which problem are you dealing with first?
I have an active duty to my time lost fellow ensign. I can read my email later. This person's whole life has been destroyed. He's on my priority list.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, you can go off and find Kareem. Have a look at a roster will have been drawn up of which crew members of the Kruskal have been put where, basically. Guest room 2 contains these members of staff. Guest room 30 contains these members of staff, and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I will find the appropriate guest room and head on down. And do a beepity beep on the door.
Yep, and he will answer the door. When he answers the door, you can see that he's managed to get hold of several data pads and is doing a lot of reading already, and he's got one clutched in one hand, and there's a couple kind of scattered about. Oh, Sam, Casey, yes, hello.
Kareem, how are you doing?
Fine, I think. I'm doing something to have a look at what we've missed out on.
Do you mind if I come in?
No, sorry, of course.
He will enter, find himself a place to sit down. I imagine this is an impossibly overwhelming feat.
Little bit. There's a lot to catch up on, and I've only just started looking at the more general history side of things. I've not started looking at anything more technical yet or personal, but
it's on personal matters that I wanted to speak with you.
Oh, right, yes.
You mentioned aboard the Kruskal, you had a friend that you were wanting to get back in touch with.
Yes, Varen. This is a Vulcan that I was at the academy with on a different ship. Those days, I've just been promoted to lieutenant as well. He's doing quite well for himself.
I have the honour and the misfortune to tell you that he did extremely well for himself.
Oh, did you know him?
More than knowing him, Commander Varen was one of my foremost tutors. He was instrumental in forming my understanding of Starfleet and the values that had to be beholden to us as members of Starfleet. And
Good.
Command. It's because of Commander Varen's sacrifice that I'm alive.
Oh.
In your reading, you will come to learn of a terrible war, the Dominion War.
I see.
The last moments that I shared with Commander Varen, he and I had made it to an escape pod when a foe called the Jem'Hadar had crashed their vessels into the prow of our ship. Decks and life support were failing level by level, and their foot soldiers had actually breached our corridor. I remember seeing on his face a look of pure calculation as he realized that there wasn't enough time for both of us to get into an escape pod. And so he pushed me in, and he closed the door, and he ejected it. And in the brief moments until the flames swept the corridor, I saw him fighting as only a Vulcan can, against an overwhelming foe in odds that were impossible to survive. I do not know what comfort, if any, that can bring you.
That sounds like the man I knew at the academy.
His legacy continues on in this ship. He formed me. He helped me understand the world in ways that I couldn't possibly before. And his daughter is Commander Talandra.
Right. Wow.
I know this news doesn't replace a lost friend. And so all I can really do to help in that is to extend my hand in friendship. I can't replace him. I've never met a single person that could replace him, not fully.
No. Oh, he was quite something, even as a young man, I guess. So, wow, can't imagine what he would have been like as a commander and a mentor, as well as being a friend.
He was exemplary at all three. We shall have to share stories.
We will. Yes, he was incredible, even at the academy, and really smart and really quick at grasping things. So a lot that he helped me with, even then.
Did he ever take you rock climbing?
He did actually.
He helped me grow to love it as a sport, and we have recreational facilities on the ship that will help bring that as a sport, as a hobby, to reality. And once you are a little settled, we shall have to do that together sometime.
I'd like that.
Oh, and I must request that once you are up to speed, I have a lot of theories about gravitational lensing that I think could be compiled into a paper that I would like to co-author with you.
Yes, I'd like that. There's might be a bit difficult on my part. There's probably a lot of advances that I've got to catch up on.
Then I can think of no better way to get you up to speed.
Thank you, and thank you for telling me about Varen. I appreciate you taking the time to tell me in person rather than just rather than me finding out some other way.
That had been my fear. I felt I should have mentioned it on the ship, but with everything else that was going on, I had to prioritize my duties. I hope you can understand.
Of course. No, I do. I understand. There was a lot going on the ship.
This, I imagine, has been a lot, and I can't imagine
Yes.
how you will begin to process this, but all the offers stand.
Thank you, Sam. That's appreciated. There's, yeah, I've not really. I know I've not started processing this yet, and it would be weird if I had, really, because we've only been in this century for what, an hour?
You're right, it would be very strange if you did.
It would be strange.
However, I lost my best friend in the line of duty too. It took me a while and to get to terms with that. And I did some harmful things in that time that I regret. And if I can help steer you away from such things, that is all I want.
Thank you. In some ways, it's good that we've come through it with that I've come through it with the rest of the crew as well from the Kruskal. It means I'm not doing this alone.
I imagine that will be quite a vital support network for you.
I think it will be, as we're all going to be getting to grips with what's happened. But your support as well is, it's very welcome.
Of course. He reaches down, just grabs a pad that's been slung on his belt, hands it over. Some recommended reading of my own. It's not all science. It's mostly science, but things that you have got to catch up with and to look forward to.
And he looks down at the pad. Thank you. I'll give it a look.
I'll leave you to it. If you need anything, just let me know.
Maybe I'll come find you for a rock climb later.
I welcome that. I stand, dip my head in a little nod, and head for the door.
You can probably see him just kind of wipe a tear away.
Yep.
Out the corner of your eye as you go.
Yeah.
He was
Casey's clearly moved, but he's doing his best to keep it together. He's very duty face, but there is still kind of like a lot of hesitance as he leaves, like a little bit of uncertainty in like how he should carry himself. Yeah, then he will depart.
I ship it.
I don't. I need to go and tend to my actual ship.
Ship?
I'm just playing all of the ships.
That's true. We've just adopted another sad boy. Another sad science boy.
Yep. Science strength all the way down.
Good old Ensign Bob.
Ensign Billy Bob Shabadoo.
We're good with names this session.
good with names this session.
We don't need a sad boy polycule. Like, no.
But what if sad boy
No.
polycule?
It's becoming like you'll need some therapy if you're just seeking out other sad nerd boys. Like, no.
They've got a type, all right.
They could not.
Not on my
could
ship.
Not on my ship.
Okay. Who wants something next?
Do Kath again.
It's just going to be Mike and I picking on each other. For that. Start to ask us, we're just going to yell, pick on the other.
Yeah, but like at some point I might just go, no, you're going to do another one as your other sad character.
It's fair.
Yes, okay, Kath. Vance or Athon?
Let's go with Vance. Let's get some variety in here.
Okay. I'm trying to put the voice on.
Trying to apparently contort my vocal cords. I'm there.
Gotta get that oral posture right.
It just briefly went a little bit Southern Belle, slightly more than I intended. I also discovered at some point that apparently I once wrote down that Vance was from Kentucky. That has since been contradicted on screen, so
that's very much not the case.
Original plans of Kath.
Yep.
Shit happens.
Shit happens. So, Vance, what are you doing?
I don't think Vance has anything like. He is definitely going to have conversations with Commander Graham, but I think they've had all the conversations. I think, like, on the ship, he's expressed the whole he'll support her, etc. thing, and right now nothing else has changed other than we're back, neat. So I guess like depending on how it even works to get fucking comm time. He's definitely at some point going to try to call his wife.
Yeah, he should probably do that.
Pretty high on his priority list once he got the scary bullshit corporate email from the captain.
Cool. So what we'll do is we'll kind of fast forward to evening-ish kind of time. So people can be kind of off duty and getting that kind of time to make, personal calls and have those chats with various people and go, so about those 2 months. So we'll say that Vance is, I'm going to say he's in his quarters.
Yeah, let's put the call through.
Okay. You can put the call through to Lieutenant Eve Graham.
Starbase doopity boo.
220. I can't help you with that one because I didn't write that down.
Starbase 220.
Yep. And then on the screen in front of you is your wife.
Hey. Yeah. I'm alive. I'm well. I'm
glad.
Just got back like a few hours ago.
What?
Yeah, temporal, trapped in an anomaly for, from my perspective, 18 hours.
Right.
You okay, darling? There's like...
Sorry,
okay?
it's just... I wasn't expecting this call to happen.
I'm sorry.
though. It's not your fault. I don't think it's your fault.
No, it's not my fault. It's not my
Good.
fault.
Good. Just fucking hell, Atticus. 2 months.
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine what I'd. If the situation were reversed, I think I'd probably lose my mind. I'm sorry.
It's good to see you, though.
Good to see you. So, yeah, everything's fine. We're heading back to Starbase. Captain says that we might get a bit of an opportunity for, again, some shore leave. So, I'll hop on a shuttle first chance I get.
Good. Good. It's been a while.
I mean, from my perspective, just a few weeks ago, but yeah.
Yeah. What?
There
What
is
happened? I know you said anomaly, but just...
That is the short. There is, I mean, normally I'd say, I'll tell you the whole story when I get there, and I'll make sure that I bring all... Okay, first, I promise I will bring all of the sensor records and everything I could get my hands on, because you'll understand and you'll probably have a great time looking at what trapped me.
Mm.
Weird anomaly shit. Like, you love that.
I do like a weird anomaly. You do know me well.
So that'll be
I like a weird anomaly
gift.
much more when you're not in it.
My peace gift will be all of the sensor telemetry. So that'll make you... I know how to make my wife happy, clearly.
Not being dead and a bunch of sensor telemetry are both good ways of making me happy.
The
former much, the not being dead much more.
Oh, okay. It's pretty good. It's pretty good sense telemetry. I'm told.
I'll have to review it then.
So things do get a little weird. We went in there to rescue a ship. Long story short, they'd been trapped in there for 80 years. They thought it had only been about 2 weeks. USS Kruskal. Right. And it turns out that your...
I know that name.
Grandfather Jim's aunt, is chief of security, and she's alive and now here in 79. So that's weird.
What?
Yeah. Turns out you were named after her. I didn't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
It's all a bit of a surprise for me because you two look kind of similar. Strong familial resemblance.
Right. Okay. That's... Wow.
Yeah. So we've got a whole bunch of crew and folks who need acclimatizing.
Oh, yeah. Grandpa Jim will be happy.
Yeah, I thought so. I'll let her know that he's all right. I'll let her know that the LA Devils still suck. And that there's folks who apparently, it seems, remember her still around. So I'll probably send a message to your grandpa at some point.
Yeah.
Warning.
Yeah, Grandpa Jim's gonna need a bit of warning for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't suddenly just... Yeah, shouldn't probably just drop his aunt, my great aunt. Wow, that's... Was it great aunt? Great aunt.
No. Yep, great.
Yeah.
That's why I stuck with your grandfather's aunt.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
Got to hand it to you, love. That's a pretty good anomaly.
I told you. It'll be fine.
You did.
Micro black holes, temporal distortion, trapped ships, and long lost family members. I assure you, it would take something of that magnitude to whisk me away for a bit.
You all right though?
Yeah, that
It's-
was. It was just a weird 8 hours from my perspective. It was weird.
One hell of a weird day.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Mm,
I'm
good.
sorry. I don't mean to keep on worrying you like this. I know that
Yeah.
that these kind of things keep happening.
Yeah, that ship does seem to be getting a bit of a rap.
I do kind of. It's good. I'm glad that I worried a bit when I'd be posted to an intrepid class that it was just going to be pushing buttons on science assignments. Not much use for a chief of security if all you're doing is a survey mission. So on the one hand, I guess I'm glad that there's missions with meaning and purpose where I can make myself useful. That's what I came back out here for. But
Mm.
I guess it's been two really weird kind of near misses now.
Yeah. Yeah, it has.
We'll talk more when I get there.
Yeah, sorry, I just still reeling a bit for the fact that
I'm here.
you're here at your back.
Of course I'm back.
Yeah. I started to assume the worst a bit, I guess, when you'd been away 2 months and hadn't been any sign of the ship other than a beacon dropped out in the middle of nowhere. And
I don't know, 2 months. 2 months when the starship's investigating something weird is. I'd probably think the same.
you start putting two and two together.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky to still be here.
And from the sounds of things, could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
80 years for them. Bloody
Yeah.
hell. That's.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine.
No. 2 months is enough. More than enough.
I'll jump on a first shuttle out I can get. It's fine. My deputy, he's never mentioned anyone who he needs to go visit. I can give him a bit of
I'm
experience running the department for some time.
I'm sure Karis can cover.
And senior staff, enough of them married to the job.
Yeah.
Jump on the first shuttle I can.
Good.
Okay, we'll talk more when I get back, because there's always stuff to talk, but we'll talk more when I get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we should. And I guess I should at some point meet this
Commander Graham.
Commander Graham.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
I'll get a letter for Jim, so.
Yeah, I'll probably drop Grandpa a call
Yeah.
as well.
Well, I'll send you the letter, and then you can send it to him.
That's a good
and
idea.
Handle him.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and then we can get Grandpa Jim braced for this.
All the time.
God, next family reunion's gonna be weird.
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna be real weird, Atticus.
Look at it this way: it distracts anyone from asking what the fuck's going on with me.
Yes, but you do know that normally when they say bring something for the barbecue, they're talking like potato salad.
Not a long lost.
Not a long lost relative.
Relative. Let's stick with relative.
Let's go with relative. But yeah, they don't mean bring long lost relatives to
Got
the
to
party.
outdo him. I've got to outdo him.
You're certainly doing that.
Listen, I hated sometimes feeling like the outsider, the one, the southern boy from out of state. So this way, I'm just gonna bring Commander Graham, and we can be the weird ones.
Yeah, but you don't get to stand in the corner being the weird ones if you pull a stunt like that.
It's true. It's true.
We'll be the weird ones in the middle of the room being asked all the questions.
It's fine. She'll get most of the heat, not me. Thought all this through, darling.
It's quite a length to go to avoid awkward questions, though, love.
All right, I should get back to work. I'll speak to you soon.
We'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Always. Boop. Thus did the weirdest Graham family reunion.
Weirdest family barbecue ever.
That's her extended family. That's not my extended family.
Yeah, but you've been basically adopted by her extended family, so you're part of this now.
Now no one can ask Vance.
You married into this.
Vance married into this, and now no one's going to be like, so Atticus, now you have weird Borg in you. Let's talk about that. No, you should talk. Have you met Commander Gray?
Cool. Okay. Mike, pick on you next.
Who do you
Right.
want? Who do you want?
Who do you want? Because I can go with either. You can either have Zal, or you can have Casey.
Let's keep him waiting on the Casey. Considering Zal was mentioned in this.
Yeah, let's go with Zal. Let's push the Casey stuff to a little bit later. Why not? That can be next round. So, Zal. Making any personal calls to family members?
No, God, no. No, God, no. People don't get my backstory that easy. I imagine...
I tried, folks.
This scene, I imagine, will take place in the mess hall. I want to extend an opportunity for... If Kath wants to hop in this scene as, like, Vance or something, so we can role-play together rather than...
Hey, rather than just bouncing between
Yeah.
the areas. Let's do that. Role-playing as a group, folks.
So yeah, I imagine let's do Vance and Zal just getting together in the mess hall. Like Zal's eating food, as Andorians might do.
Okay, I need to
Tones are
prep you.
weird.
I'm going to quickly message you, Mike, because I'm going to ask you a question I see because it's relevant, and I don't want you to go, fuck, I don't know.
Okay. I'm really excited.
I'm excited for this.
It's not that.
I know it's not that, but
It's...
I'm still excited for whatever this is.
Hold on.
Okay, this wasn't...
Yeah, no.
You could bullshit it
Yeah,
as a
no,
bit.
I got it. Don't worry. I got it.
Cool. Okay. How you doing?
Okay. I think I really, as the commander quite rightly put it, as long-lived as I am, I don't have as much at stake for what's been lost.
Yeah, how long do Andorians live?
For me, it would probably be around my 130s.
I don't get that line of thinking. That doesn't make it. Think of all that you still miss. Also, 80 years. That's a big chunk of 130 odd years.
Yeah, the 80 is a big leap. 2 months. I don't imagine it's much different as if you had lost it. Well, we all have lost it. I'm thinking about people I've not spoken to. I'm thinking about basketball games I've not watched. But
so many games. Oh no.
Go on.
Nope, just okay. It's gonna be. I really hope that Lieutenant Strange had a very good therapist nearby.
Oh yeah.
So I just thought about football games.
You thought about
Been
football
watching-
games, and you thought about Adam Strange.
It's strange not been watching soccer together.
Huh. How's he finding it?
I mean, he thinks it's called football.
I mean, wrong. Very wrong.
I let him choose the sport, so, you know. Like, yeah, for the most part, I don't think 2 months is... Losing 2 months, I don't, in and of itself, I really greatly worry about.
Hmm.
I worry about my wife. Spoken to her, she's all right. But, you know, figured I was probably dead there, so that ain't fun.
Yeah. I imagine that's not fun at all.
No.
I'm sorry. That must have been quite difficult.
It's just weird. Like, you don't need to apologize, because I don't even know what to say or think about. I can try to put myself in her shoes, but that don't really do much. You're not mentioning anyone who you've been worrying about worrying.
Honestly, the only people that I could get in touch with would probably be quite relieved. I think they'd rather be dead than hear from me again.
That's... I mean, family can be tough, but it's usually still family.
Usually.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really gone fully into my situation.
No, you haven't.
It is
Complicated.
intensely complicated.
Now, I'm not going to ask you what it is, because you'd tell me if you wanted to tell me. But in my experience, whenever anyone says something is complicated, what they usually mean is it's just really difficult.
My whole thing takes a lot more understanding about Andorian customs
Mm-hmm.
and then honor
Mm-hmm.
and then cultural significance of certain actions
Mm-hmm.
and then what marriage is for Andorians. And then, needless to say, it's just messy, and you're better off not knowing about it.
Sure.
Like if it needs to come up at some point, if there's anything you need to know about it, right?
Hey,
I will
again,
let you know.
I said I wasn't asking it. I'm saying that usually I think that we say that things are complicated because if they're complicated, then that suggests that it's beyond our capacity and capability to fix them.
Oh no, I think this is beyond my capacity to fix.
Okay. Sometimes that is also the case with family.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'm intending on taking off on as much shore leave as I can to go see my wife, and so I reckon that you're going to be going nowhere, it seems.
No.
So you can take on the department while I'm gone.
I would love to.
Good, I thought you would. This damn shit with half of you obsessed more with your uniform.
It's not.
It's
so
not
bad.
healthy.
It's fine.
It's not healthy.
I'm not obsessed with my uniform. I got plenty
All right.
going on.
What else you got going on?
I like basketball.
Basketball is not a lifestyle.
I like boxing. I like Andorian opera.
Yeah.
I compose a little myself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hobbies.
I'm complicated.
You got hobbies.
Yeah.
It's also not complicated.
What do you need?
Why do you do what you do?
Before I joined Starfleet,
Mm-hmm.
I worked for the Andorian military. I was in intelligence, but it was sort of more data analysis.
You mean intelligence?
Yeah. And that's the kind of crux of it. It was dull. And also we attribute a lot of creed and respect and honor to rank and station.
Mm-hmm.
I had an opportunity to pivot out of simply looking at data packets and feeding it up the chain, and an opportunity to rise in the ranks of Starfleet. And every intention was, once I'd become qualified and enrolled into Starfleet, that I'd become some kind of Andorian Starfleet liaison officer, and that I would return back to home.
Mm-hmm.
But then I found that Starfleet helps people become the people they need to be. You know?
Mm-hmm.
There was more out there than just sitting at screens and thinking of the world, the universe as charts and quadrants. To see it, to travel, to actually be a part of this vast, unfathomable expanse and see the opportunities that it can present us for unity and peace and exploration. That spoke to me in a way that nothing ever really had before. And I do security because I'm big and strong.
Helps.
Yeah.
Well, it seems you're in the right place. This is the weird shit, but weird shit happens.
Yep. I think I'm in the right place. 2 weeks, did you say?
Honestly, as long as I can wriggle out of it. I reckon that they'll probably give us a bit of downtime as a whole. You're not going to send probably not going to send a ship that's been through this on any kind of high priority assignment for a little bit.
Okay. I can hold the fort.
Yeah, I know. See, I think we're done.
Nicely done. Speak up if either of you have any preferences on who goes next. Otherwise, I'm going to pick on Mike again.
I could easily follow through on that momentum.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Pick up on the Zal momentum.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be your other sad boy, or unless Kath wants to do.
No, I'm happy
stuff.
if there's all momentum to carry on.
Yeah.
At some point, there will need I think it will now need to be a Tharn in K2 conversation at some point.
Cool.
But that's
Add
not
it to the
high
queue.
priority.
We'll cue that up for after this then.
I imagine like the scene is Zal coming out of the mess hall. Maybe he and Vance goes in separate ways, and then he's just heading down a corridor and will possibly bump into her.
Yeah, possibly bump into Commander Shtereth.
Kind of raise his head in a kind of one of those upward nods.
Yeah, one of those sup kind of nods. Yeah.
Lieutenant, how are you?
Could be worse. Slowly starting to get used to things.
I imagine that's going to take a while.
Yeah, there's a lot to catch up on.
Where are you heading?
Probably through the mess hall, or
I'll join you.
Polygon.
I've just found that a bunch of work's going to hit my plate sooner rather than later, so I can go for a second round. Yeah.
Drink then?
Drink.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those.
What are you having?
What What do Andorians go for? You know Andorian shit better than me.
Dorian Ale.
Cool, Andorian Ale. Andorian Ale.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. Yeah, I trust you that it's a thing.
Like
I thought it was that, and then I was thinking, wait, but Romulan ale's a thing. Is Andorian ale a thing as well?
They all got
Also,
ale.
Everybody's got their ale. Yeah, Andorian ale is what Sheriff wants.
I imagine that the scene cuts to one of those close-up shots of the table, a tray being put down with 2 glasses of whatever Andorian ale looks like. I imagine colourful, or in a strange glass, because it's usually, to distinguish that it's a space drink, one of these 2 things. He will sit down.
Blue.
They're blue.
Shockingly, it's blue.
We can only drink what is blue.
Like
we can only have blue things.
it's light blue. It looks like a fucking WKD.
It does look like a fucking WKD.
He will raise his glass in a bit of a cheers and take a drink.
And she'll say the same. Once this work, that's hitting your plate.
The Lieutenant Vance is going to be heading off, see family for a little bit, so I'm going to be in charge of security for a little while. There's rumours that apparently there's extended leave opportunities, given that we have technically been away for 2 months, but
Yeah.
I'm not really in a rush to go anywhere.
No?
No, I like the ship. I got nowhere to be. Earth would be nice to go back to again, but nothing beyond that.
Really?
No.
Not any family you'd want to go see yourself?
No. No, that is complicated, and I did say...
Yeah, you did say it was complicated.
I mean, I warn you, you're not going to like it. So it's up to you.
I mean, you can't say something like that and then not follow up.
I'm married.
Yeah, you mentioned.
I haven't seen any of my partners for going on 6 years.
Mm-hmm. Long time to be kept busy with work.
One of them challenged me to an Oshantor, and I have been avoiding that duel.
You'd probably say that as she's kind of mid-sip. I'm sorry, you what?
I have turned my back on an honor duel. And I will not see it completed.
Why not? Why not, Zal? It's an honor duel.
I don't agree with the terms.
You don't agree with the terms. And so that's what you're turning your back on people for.
I have no choice.
What do you mean you have no choice?
If I accept that duel, I'm denying who I am.
So you'd instead turn your back on everything else? On your family, your partners, your own honor? Is that not part of who you are?
Turns out, not as important, no.
Can't believe what I'm hearing.
I remind you at this juncture, the right to duel is not yours, and you.
No, it's not. And frankly, I don't want any part of this. Because you're right, this isn't my duel to take, and I'm not going to take it up with you, because you need to be dealing with it with your family. But apparently, you don't want to.
There's more to it than that, but there's nothing I could say that would change your mind on it.
Not unless you're about to say that what you're going to do with your potential upcoming leave is go back and deal with the problem, but apparently not. Apparently, what you're instead the kind of person who does is you run away from your problems for 6 years like a dope puss. And just abandon a large part of who you were in favour of another.
Yep. And I'm comfortable with my choice.
Good for you. Oh, Clive's a piece of shit. She stands up, picks up a glass, throws a drink at you.
Anything else?
Don't talk to me again.
Sure. Enjoy the
I
future.
don't want any. And she storms off.
He does. This is a large man who is soaked with a very sweet drink.
Yeah.
Who is now just filling.
There's like a big blue stain down the front of the grey part of his uniform.
He's
And
just
on the yellow as well. It's just he's soaked in.
He is occupying his space. Like, he's doing legs out straight, arms folded if he's not drinking. But there's like just anger and clear conflict twisting at his features. The antennae go fucking nuts. Like twisting inwards in almost akin to like a flexing bicep. To just be crass about it. Like, he's clearly pissed. And
when he's mad, he flexes.
Every inch of him flexes.
Oh, I'm so fucking mad.
so mad. And like, there's probably a moment where some poor ensign is like looking over at him, and he just kind of
gets grabbed and bench pressed.
Yeah, just one-handed. No, there'll be like a snapped "what of it," and then I imagine like, yeah, like real aggro. Don't look at me. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that'll probably be it for that scene.
That'll probably be it for that scene, unless Vance suddenly walks back in.
No.
Broke
brah. You fucking just told him some NPC and not me, brah.
Yeah, so on Shatera's part, so the way I've kind of set it up in my head is, they've taken like a table in like a corner so that they can talk, Andorian shit to each other, who not have to deal with other people. So, she's thrown that drink in Zal's face, yelled at him, and stormed off. She probably kicks over a chair or a table or something on her way out as well. Like, you have the same kind of, her own antenna are going mental as well, because she's fucking fuming.
Yeah, this is why I didn't tell you, brah. Because, like, this is an appropriate reaction, and you'd have just been like, oh, cool, whatever, man.
No, that was never going to happen. And Sal knew that. But, well.
Awkward.
Super orcs there. Okay. Kath's turn to be picked on, I guess. Unless no, I'm not. I'm gonna make you hold off on going straight to sad boy times. Sad boy times can wait just a bit longer.
Yeah, I'm happy to leave that as like a prelude to the eventual strange conversation.
Yeah. There's been a lot of strange conversations. It's been a weird day. Well, yes.
There is some Athan personal shit which has nothing to do with Casey.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you've
You're-
got lined up, GM.
That's basically the two options I've got here are the Athan Casey or Athan's personal shit.
Do
So
Athan's
pick your pick.
personal shit because I can be, mysterious all I fucking like, but let's not give the people what they want, which is giving them what they want.
Yeah. Let's see that. Cool. Athan's personal shit.
So, Athan is probably gonna take a few days. I don't know. It's gonna take however long it takes hypothetically in the timeline, but whatever. Athan is not gonna rush to this.
Yeah, the kind of time that we're looking at for you to get back to Starbase 437, given that you're not rushing there up warp 9 going, distress call!
Yes, that's true. It's a few days still.
It's a couple of days before you picked up the distress call anyway, and then you ran off at warp 9. So you're looking at 5 days, 4 or 5 days.
There'll be a few days in then before Athan ostensibly bothers, and this will be we'll get one of the few times we'll actually get a scene like in Athan's quarters, because we don't usually get that. She's usually in her ready room or in the captain's mess, because we kept the original captain's dining room because we don't have Neelix's kitchen.
Yes. Have we ever had a scene in Athan's quarters, actually? I
don't think we have.
What are our quarters like, then?
The
Set a bit of a scene for us.
Captain's quarters are always bigger. On an Intrepid, they have a separate bedroom. It has its own dining space. It is... Oh, no, we have had scenes in Athan's room before, because there was a conversation about what music Athan listens to.
Oh, yes, there was. You're right.
And Vance was, I don't give a shit.
Cool, yeah.
Yes, so we've seen it before, but yeah, Athan... Whilst the decorations are fairly Spartan, it is perhaps difficult for an onlooker to tell whether or not this is deliberate under-decorating, or if her tastes just run towards the slightly more open plan. I have lots of space. I have that one perfectly selected picture over there. It is not because I'm not decorating this space. I'm making deliberate choices with how I am using this space. Because ultimately Athan is a little bit of a cultural snob sometimes.
Little bit.
Yeah, so she will get work done, eventually head to her desk and put in a call to the planet of Trill, to the offices of the Vascan family.
Okay.
And I'm assuming it's going to get answered, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's going to get answered, Mike. Let her brief moment of, shit, was I supposed to prep for this? No, I wasn't.
Just improv, just fucking roll with it.
Go. Tell me about this guy. No, what does Cole look like?
He's got that very kind of middle-aged patriarch look about him. Very trim, not like severe unpleasant, but sort of very trim, very presented, very presentable. Like Nadari's features in older, masculine, angular. Yeah.
Nadari.
Father, I thought it would be best if I got in touch. I am assuming that Starfleet sent word that my ship had gone missing.
Of your disappearance, yes. This is the first I've heard of your return.
It was only very lately, Father. We were trapped within a spatial anomaly. It was an unfortunate accident, but we're free. And everyone is well.
What's very lately? Have you only just emerged?
Within the last 2 days.
I see. I imagine your duties have kept you occupied.
Well, yes, I have a crew of 140 people who have lost 2 months, and I have rescued a Starfleet crew of 60 individuals who have been temporarily displaced for the last 80 years. Not to mention the vast amounts of scientific data that has been gathered and assessed and various associated security concerns.
I'm sure you must be commended on that act. It sounds quite heroic.
It was necessary.
Our focus is always to do what is necessary.
So I thought that maybe you could make sure that Mother and my sister know.
I will be certain to let them know. I have some of my own duties to perform. There's a lot of protests going on outside the Yarlium facilities.
Indeed?
It's just... Unfortunately, one of those things that has become a matter of the course of public opinion, because we've just instigated a controlled substance export with exclusive rights to the Ferengi. Naturally, there's been a fair amount of red tape of Starfleets to get through in order to manage that. But because it's become a public affair, people are protesting because they mistake commerce for corruption.
Matters do get complicated whenever trade with the Ferengi is involved.
But trade with the Ferengi in this instance will be what is best for Trill, which always will be my priority.
Of course. I'm sorry that you have that added inconvenience to your workload.
I'm sure I will be able to manage.
Very well. I thought it was necessary to update you. I've updated you. I cannot foresee many future opportunities for me to return. Obviously, these duties keep me busy.
Of course.
Very well. Was there anything else?
No, I seem to have had an excellent conversation with Athan, and I thank you for that. Maybe one day I'll be able to speak to my daughter again.
I'll let you get back to work.
I'll let you get back to your crew. Athan.
Good night.
Oof. Oof. Sorry, I'm still reeling from that last line. This actually was supposed to be making you two sad, not me. Well, not sad, but, feelings.
The turntables.
Now you're on the turny table of turning.
I'll get my revenge in a minute.
But not on me.
Not on you, Kath. But I think we'll carry on the momentum of Athan seem to move to that Athan Casey soon.
Yeah, she'll go to see Casey probably when he's off duty and probably in his quarters.
Because that feels like, after they go see to you, it's like, fine, I will.
Yeah.
Right.
And she'll go do it.
I know a guy.
Fucking will. I know a really
watch
sad
me,
guy.
Dad.
Yeah, I'm gonna go captain the shit out of this child.
Yeah, Casey will be in his quarters. He will have no reason to deny entrance to the captain. So I imagine Athan will walk in. He's definitely been reading, and he does the whole standing up. And it's not full on stand to attention, but it's like, the captain's in my room. Okay.
At ease, Ensign. This is not a formal business visit.
I see. How are you, Captain?
I'm fine. Truthfully, losing a little bit of time is not a particular setback for me. I'm far more concerned about making sure that both crews can proceed and deal with the situation. How are you, Ensign?
Oh, I'm well, thank you. My mothers were quite relieved to hear from me, and I am doing my best to help Ensign Karim reacclimatise. I know there are others. I know there's many of them that need to reacclimatise, but as we're of the same station, it seemed pertinent.
That's good. You've not been assigned to take on every single member of the Kruskal's crew and try to acclimatize them, Ensign. But helping those you've made a personal connection with is more than enough.
Good, thank you. I appreciate that.
You when I was asking on the bridge what had happened, both times your answer was an admission of fault, Ensign.
Yes, Captain. I felt culpable for the loss of time, given that it had been the information that I had relayed that has led us to take the risk and not know the effects.
I'd say that we knew it was a risk going in. I don't think anyone, and certainly I was not under any impression that we were guaranteed anything.
No, there were very few guarantees that could have been made. I find it very difficult to shake the feeling that if I had just been a little bit more attentive, I could have saved a lot of people a lot of personal hurt.
Perhaps. But I think two things I feel need to be made clear. The first is that, Ensign, you and your plans helped make it possible for us to even go there and rescue the crew of the Kruskal. Otherwise, we would not have attempted it. Maybe the execution was imperfect, but the execution was of a plan to essentially make the laws of physics sit down and shut up for the better part of the day. Instead, you made them sit down and only make muffled sounds for the better part of the day. It is not a total victory, Ensign, but it is still a victory.
That does go some way of easing my conscience. Thank you.
Good, because ultimately they're my orders. Ultimately, I weighed up the risk. And the risk did include, am I condemning everyone on this ship not to death, but to losing their lives? And I will very much take this result.
I think I will too.
Good.
You said there were two things.
I did.
He squirms a little.
It's in some ways good of you to consider your responsibility within this. I know you're reflecting more upon your culpability, but you've reflected upon the things that were yours to do, yours to say. If you were to carry on in your career, Ensign, you have to include more than just your mistakes. And I don't mean just in terms of claiming your victories, like I've said. You put that plan together, you made that suggestion. And don't know if it's a sacrifice of control or simply a apprehension of my judgment that makes you only look for your own flaws. But you took on a task. You're going to need to take on more tasks.
Yes, Captain.
The commander's mentioned that she is encouraging you to take the lieutenancy tests.
Yes, following the time that we were in a facility, it seemed impertinent to deny that as a career path that I should be pursuing more actively. I welcome any opportunities to further that goal.
May I ask if there's a reason for your delay?
I didn't think I was good enough. I'm told often that I have quite a brilliant mind, but that is within very specific areas, and I can see all too often, even in terms of socialization, in dealing with the members of the crew, where I do not excel. And I wanted to try and work on that and be more affable, I suppose. Be what a lieutenant should be.
There are many things. There are thousands of lieutenants in Starfleet. All of them are many different things. And if you think that career, just like life, is not a continuous path of learning and changing and growing, then you're going to be very disappointed when you suddenly find out that you're wearing a second pip and you're not finished. You are often told that you're brilliant, Ensign, and I know that I am not one of those people who actually tells you that. And that is not because I have any less regard for your abilities, but as you say, there are many areas in which you want to grow, and it has always been my intention to work you as an officer, to set you the same tasks and responsibilities I would set any junior officer, especially one on my senior staff, and to hold you to all those expectations. I do not mean to undervalue any of the brilliant work that you do as a scientist and as my science officer.
I understand. I'm thankful of that. Thank you.
However, just because I know to expect excellence from you in certain areas does not mean that even if I wish to support you in others, I should ignore that excellence. And I hope that you have not felt that I've done so.
No, Captain. I've never thought that of you.
Good. Besides, once you make lieutenants, I will continue to treat you just as I would any young officer. And I think it's worth, and I think you need to maybe give yourself a little bit of a break, because yes, you are a brilliant young scientist, and I do not mean this demeaningly when I say that most young officers are also brilliant at the thing that they do. It is all right to have strengths and weaknesses. You do not have to be defined by either one of them. And sometimes being defined by your strength can be just as inhibiting as being defined by your weakness.
That is quite comforting to hear. It's difficult. I admit it freely. It's never been easy for me to accept anything but going forwards. If I don't have some project, if I don't have something that is unanswered that I have an answer for, then I find myself quite listless and frustrated. I always want to see what the next goal is every time that I complete one.
Yes, I think that you've rather been done a disservice by being told how excellent you are all the time. Because now you think you have to be excellent all the time.
I'm sure they didn't mean.
No.
Thank you.
I think that you should, and this is not something I would say to anyone else, especially those who've been inconvenienced, particularly by the 2-month loss. However, I think that this has been probably a pretty good failure for you, Ensign.
Yes,
It's
Captain.
going to happen.
Yes.
It is going to happen, and this is serious without ruining anyone's life. And one failure does not define us.
No, you're quite right. And in the spirit of claiming successes where I can, I thought I did a pretty good job in leading the evacuation.
It seems to have gone without a hitch. And I should say that I had anticipated possible enemy action and that you will be leading the evacuation under enemy action. And although this has nothing to do with your capabilities as my science officer, at no point did I even question Commander Talandra's judgment in leaving you in that role.
Thank you.
I will let you get back to your evening, Ensign.
Yes. Thank you for stopping by. You can swing by any time. That's incorrect. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
Anytime.
No, not any time. Whenever you.
I appreciate the thought, Ensign. Sorry, I shouldn't tease.
No, it's all right. I maybe needed that. Thank you, Captain.
Of course. Have a good evening.
You too.
And she'll leave.
That's a good scene to pair with the other one we just did, Kath. That was very
Yeah.
good.
It was good times. Good work.
I wasn't expecting to find a similarity between Assange and Casey. They've had the least
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah, they bonded there, I think. At least a little bit. What's
Yeah,
going on?
Assange has generally left his mentorship completely alone because there have been
Yeah.
other people. And that's one of the reasons, as she said, I'm going to treat him like any other officer. He's already got people who tell him he's a very special boy. I'm gonna make him work like an officer. It was nice.
Aw.
I should probably call my bae.
You should. I'm just waiting. Do I want to go for a break first?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I actually do
Yes.
need to pee. That would be
I
great.
need to pee as well. I'm
Let's all
looking
be
at,
like,
I was I was looking at the tea that I've been drinking this whole time and going, "There's a lot of tea." We'll go to a break first and make you all wait just a little bit longer for the sadness.
Bye.
Yes, Muddle
Bye.
Women, you have to wait. What's up, Trash Fam? Welcome back to the finale of Down the Rabbit Hole. I hope you've been enjoying the sadness in space so far. I know I have. And speaking of sadness in space. What's up, Mike?
Hello.
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 So
I'd like-
Athan's just left your quarters.
Yeah.
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 Fuck's sake.
I go to sleep. I lie down and I go to
You-
sleep.
Okay.
I get
cool.
my 8. No,
Cool.
I've got...
You go to sleep. You get your 8 hours. You do not check your messages.
No, I should. It's nearly inexplicable as to why Casey hasn't done this, but also it's entirely inexplicable in that, like, Casey is Casey, and it's not like his brain works in a way that people's brain works. He's
Yeah,
not...
like, you know, okay, so we're about, what, 3 days into travelling back to Stowaway's 437 at this point?
Yeah, that's
Maybe
fine.
now?
That's enough time. I need to recuperate from my stressful
need to-
day.
Yeah,
And then I
recuperate
will-
from your super stressful day. You've had other things to think about, and you've been, focusing on work stuff, but you kind of run out of those things to focus on now.
That's fine. That's good, because now is the time I need to check my messages. I open a pad and I press a button.
Yep, and there are...
The pad goes mental, like when your phone comes back into somewhere with signal after you've been away.
No, there are a couple of letters for you that have been sent to you by Adam Strange.
I read them.
Cool.
You've got a recording, don't you?
I don't actually.
Ah, that's good.
I don't, because this way I can just read things out and you can see my little face while I do it.
Cool. All right. I can't wait to see your
Damn,
little face.
I could have made a recording of this. Just sat back and pressed play and I wouldn't know how to do anything. Anyway. Yeah, so yeah, there are 3 letters. There's one dated from about 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Just before you disappeared off into a space bubble. There's one from about a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And one from just under a week ago.
Okay, cool. I read them in order. It would be insane to do anything else.
It would be weird if you did it the other way around. So first one. Dear Sam, I hope things are still going well on the Iskandar. I know it's only been a couple of days, but a lot can happen sometimes, and engineers do worry about their ships. What have you been given as your next mission? Hopefully something not too taxing. You deserve to be able to take a bit of a break. Though I imagine Commander Talantra would keep you all busy anyway. Things seem to be off to a good start here. The rest of the trip was pretty uneventful. I've had my first long chat with the Dr. Arcady pointed me at. They seem like they're going to be really helpful. I don't think this will be the easiest thing in the world, but I guess that's kind of the point. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to take work to get this kind of thing to help. But I think it'll work out well. Though I'm already looking forward to coming back. It's strangely quiet without the hustle and bustle of a starship to look after, and I miss it already. You'll have to keep me posted on what's happening. But I'm sure you will. Looking forward to getting a letter from you too. Love, Adam.
Okay, this is dreadful. This is already dreadful.
Oh, buddy, I have no spoilers.
Strap
But
the
hang
fuck
on
in,
to your
pal.
ass.
Strap the fuck in.
I press play on the next letter.
Yep, the next one was sent about 2 weeks after the first. Dear Sam, I don't know if you'll get this letter. Starfleet got in touch and they've said that the Iskandar's been missing for a couple of weeks now. That you're sent out on a survey mission and that while they've found a beacon that you've left out warning anyone else that might pass by that the area you've gone to is dangerous. The Iskandar itself is nowhere to be found. I hope you're okay, Sam. I hope all of the crew are okay and that this is just something simple that's gone wrong and it can easily be fixed and you'll all come back safely with a story of adventure to tell me. I'm trying not to think too much about the alternative. But the Iskandar's been through worse before and come through it fine. You'll be okay. I'm sure. I'm sure you'll be okay. Things have been okay here. Not great, but okay. Turns out there was a lot more to dredge up and go over than I was letting on to myself. A lot of grief that I hadn't really given any time to process. It's been a bit rough, but I think it'll be better in the long run. Please don't stay away too long, Sam. Come back soon. Love, Adam.
And he's just staring at the fact there's one letter left.
Oh.
Go through
And
them
that
all,
one letter.
and then call him. Go through them all and then call him. And I press play.
So you open up the last letter. Dear Sam, well, it's been 2 months now. I'm pretty sure you won't get this letter. There's a fair number of people in Starfleet that are pretty sure you won't get this letter, and I was starting to assume that the Iskandar and all of the crew are probably lost, though they've not said anything official yet. I'm hoping that they're wrong, but 2 months is a long time. And if there's one thing I've learned over the last few weeks is that I need to make sure I actually try to process things rather than shunting them to one side and hoping. I don't even know if there's an Iskandar for this to be sent to, so maybe this won't ever be read by anybody. But I'm going to send it anyway. Even though, in all likelihood, you're not coming back, and the best I can hope for is maybe finding out what's happened. I miss you all. Captain Than, Slandra, Askus. I miss hearing Arcady and Adina joking and gossiping in the background. I even miss Zal and his relentless attempts to try and trick us into doing combat training. But most of all, I miss you, Sam. I miss seeing your face, hearing your voice. I miss that way you can light up an entire room when you're talking about something you're excited by. In any other social situation, even if it's just the two of us and you thought there was something you should be doing, you're always so awkward and try so hard to do the right thing, but when you're just being yourself and letting yourself be enthusiastic about something, you're just incredible to see. Were, not are. Were, not are, Ad. I'm sorry I never got a chance to say goodbye to you properly. I know we did say goodbye on Starways 437, but if I'd known... Well, there's a lot of things I'd have done differently if I'd known what was going to happen. And I'm so sorry that when we last saw each other, you were still hurting from what happened in that abandoned, godforsaken research facility, and that I wasn't able to try and make that up to you. I thought that maybe this would be, well, not easy, but relatively easy. After all, it's not the first time I've lost someone I cared this much about without really telling them how I felt or getting a chance to say goodbye to them. But no, of course this isn't easy. If anything, this hurts more, but I'm going to say here what I didn't say to you in person. Maybe that'll help. So, goodbye, Sam. I love you. And the letter ends.
Computer, call Adam Strange.
It's a while. But then there's an answer.
Adam?
Sam?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm back. I'm sorry, I'm back.
Yeah, you are. What?
Time anomaly. Very fascinating. It doesn't matter. How are you?
A lot better for seeing you.
I've just been reading your letters.
Ah, yeah.
I'm
Um,
I love you. I hope it's not been too long. I hope we've not found someone else in this time. I'm sorry, that must come across as desperate. This must be a lot. I'm sorry.
It's Sam, it's fine. I'm really glad you're back.
I've barely had chance to even call my mother's. We've been back 3 days. You were top of my list, but I've barely had time to sleep. I'm sorry it took so long.
It's fine. Honestly, I mean, 3 days isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it's been 2 months, and I'm so glad you're not dead.
I'm not dead. I missed you. For me, it's been only 3-4 days and I've missed you. I can only imagine. If it's even a fraction of what I'm feeling, I can only imagine, and I'm sorry.
I did miss you a lot. But what happened, Sam? What? You said time anomaly?
Gravitational lensing around a black hole, an anomaly that had trapped a ship that had been stuck in there for 80 years. The Kruskal, was it? That's Mike, not Casey.
Yeah.
The Kruskal. We've brought 60 people out of there for whom it seemed only like a matter of days. 80 years. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, I can. No, I can't imagine that. Don't know why I'd even say that.
I need to be honest with you, and I've just been told by Captain Athan not to hold it against myself, but part of the reason why we weren't in touch quite so strictly was because I miscalculated, and I thought we were only going to be in there for a matter of days. Had I actually double-checked my working, I would have realised it would have only been a couple of months. Would have, and then we would have maybe had the opportunity to send personal communique beforehand. There was time dilation. It's very awkward. I'm going to work on a paper about it.
I look forward to reading that.
I want you to proofread it, please.
Gladly.
I want you to come home. When will you come home? Sorry,
Soon.
I know, it's only... I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
If you're still on leave, I've lost all track of time, funnily enough. I could come visit you.
No, I'm not on leave anymore. That was only for about 6 weeks, so that's finished.
Where are you? On the station? Are you at Earth?
No, I'm heading out towards a Starbase 437, the one that you dropped me off at. I don't know if that's where... Is that where you're heading?
Yes. I can see you there.
Good. Yes.
And I'll
see you there.
I'll write to you. I want to keep that promise.
It's probably only going to be a day.
That doesn't matter. I want to make it right.
You've done a lot to make it right just by coming back.
I nearly said I didn't have a lot of say in that, but I actually did. So, yes, you're worth coming home to. I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon.
He ends the comms because you don't say
Yep.
bye.
No.
And he just kind of flops back, heaves a sigh of like shaken relief, and then just like scrubs at his eyes. I want to go to the starbase.
You're going to the damn starbase.
We're
all
going
right?
home, you bastard.
I
Well,
want my boy
it's
back.
not home.
Vance?
No, I think we're good.
No, we're
I
not
think
having
we're
that.
good. No, I think we're
Cool.
good.
Cool.
Mhm.
In that case, we will duck forward to you arriving at the starbase, I think, unless... Do either of you have anything else you want
Nah,
for
we're
either
good.
of your characters
Nope.
on the Iskandar with any of the sad NPCs
No,
before we get there?
I've said my parts.
We've
done
said
your
our
bit.
parts.
You've all done your bits.
Yep. Vance said his part
Vance.
last episode. He's efficient.
Yeah. He's an efficient man.
I can't believe Sal said enjoy the future to her.
Yeah, what a sassy little bitch.
Sassy bitch.
Sorry, yes, I want my boy back. Thank you.
Okay. You can have your boy back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Iskandar will dock at Starbase 437.
No, carry on.
No, you were about to say
That was
something.
no, I wasn't actually. That was just,
Oh, okay.
I had gas. I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
Nope, I noticed. The GM notices all. Oh dear. Anyway, yes. So yeah, you arrive at the starbase dock. There are a couple of people that seem a bit surprised to see you back as well. So hang on, that ship that left here, that's the one that disappeared. But then, yeah, as you arrive and kind of disembark, any of you that do?
Sure. I
Yeah.
imagine Athan has various bits of business once you dock at a ship at a starbase. So yeah.
Casey will disembark. He
Casey will push Athan over.
Yeah, like he's probably like seen doing like a jittery kind of looking over Athan's shoulders. He's quite a tall boy, but I imagine like
He is a tall boy.
just- he doesn't want to barge past the captain. But the fact that there is even a crowd to obscure the slightest part of his vision frustrates him.
Oh yeah, like it's not a busy starbase. There's not really that
It's
much of a
too
crowd.
busy. There needs to be
There are-
one
there are
person
some-
up
I
here.
get out of the way for his neuroses.
I shuffle around my captain and then I look for my boy.
And your boy is there.
I run to him.
Yep.
I want to hug him. I want him in my arms.
You can run up to your boy.
I
Aw.
just
And like Adam still seems kind of stunned, like he can't quite believe that this is happening. Not in a he thinks he's hallucinating things again kind of way, just to be clear. Then a kind of just a healthy, normal, he can't believe this is quite happening kind of way.
That's perfect because as he's running towards him, Casey will register that. And Casey can run. Like Casey's quite athletic. It's often forgotten.
He's got
about.
long legs.
So he like just sprints up to Adam and then sees that hesitance, and so he kind of like skids to an awkward halt. He doesn't quite get it in time, and so
Sorry,
kind
my
of
head is quite like Lady Jones.
so it's like he doesn't slow his own momentum down in time. He kind of crashes into Adam.
This is Vance.
And then he's like stepping back, and he's putting his hands on Adam's shoulders. Sorry.
No, before you,
oh.
Like you kind of go to step back, and then Adam will go to hug you.
That's important. That's why this works. That's what you bring to this. It's a tight hug. Like he's never a great hugger, but this is so heartfelt that it's just tight and close. And he doesn't necessarily want to pull back straight away. He just wants to hold him for a while. And then eventually he will, and kind of look down. Like they're about the same height, aren't they?
No, they're not. There's like a good 4 inches difference between them. So there's a bit of a down.
He will look down at Adam and say, "Hi."
Hi.
Vance is going to kind of wander up, sort of wander past, just kind of clap Strange on the shoulder. We've still got a lot of soccer games to catch up with, apparently.
I think it's mostly you that's got the soccer games to catch up.
Ah,
The football games to catch up on.
Soccer?
Football?
Soccer. We'll have this argument when I'm back from shortly.
Yeah.
You two good?
Very good. I think
Good.
very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we're good.
Good.
Thank you,
And
Lieutenant.
Adam's not quite let go of Casey at this point. Like
No.
they're still, like they pulled
There's-
back, but they haven't actually let go.
Yeah,
Hey, you two taking shore leave after this?
I'd like to.
Yeah, you should do that. And Vance leaves.
Yes, Vance is the best wingman, whilst also not putting up with any of their shit.
Do you know anywhere nice to go on shore leave? I'd take you to my home planet, but it is poisonous.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, that took me by surprise.
Anyway, sticking with that being what Casey says.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think that's the right level of awkward. Yeah, I think this is probably where if the question your planet or mine comes in, then my home planet's a lot less toxic.
Yours has culture, and you can live in something which isn't a biodome.
Yeah.
Mine has my mum's, and they replicate excellent stew, but I'd like to visit Earth.
We'll do that.
Good.
And he will pull you into a hug again.
Yeah. He like hugs, very gentle kiss to the side of the head, and I think that's like, oh no, he will kind of murmur like something to the effect of "I missed you."
And yeah, Adam will also murmur something kind of into your shoulder, really, along the lines of "I missed you too."
And the hug will tighten.
Subscribe to our Patreon to find out exactly what they whispered to each other.
What else have we promised Patreon backers in the past?
Oh, all sorts of shit.
Mostly the humiliation of Samuel Casey.
Mostly the humiliation.
Oh
of Sam
God,
Casey.
yeah, I knew there was something.
Yeah.
I'm done with my scene. I think
Yep.
that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was nice too. Okay. I'm going to go to a phone
Okay.
because I don't think Zal's not got anything to do on this
No, and
Starface
Vance
except maybe
has
sulk. Vance has done.
Out.
Vance has done his thing. So we'll have what had you said? Athon's gone off onto to go
She'd
do
probably gone
something.
to the station, and it was nothing significant. Okay,
Okay,
if we're looking at this
cool.
from a wrap-up perspective, what I think is actually possible is a parting conversation with
Between the
Captain
captains.
Young.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go to, unless you
Yep.
had other ideas. So no, we will go to the captains.
Like, what's the situation? Like, I imagine that Starfleet is sending people to go fucking collect them.
Yeah.
To an extent of you're
Yeah, but
technically free to
essentially-
go. However,
Yeah, so Starfleet are sending some people to go and collect them to kind of talk to them, debrief them properly, bring them bring them up to speed in an official capacity, even though that's something that's probably been done a little bit on.
So the space dock's probably big enough that they'll have been able to have their own quarters. So if we go with where Young has been quartered from the perspective of finally Captain Young has her own space in this century with all of the mod cons of this century, and Athan can stop by. Captain. The Admiral's informed me that your debriefing party should be arriving probably by tomorrow. I have no idea if the Iskandar will still be here by then. I would rather hope that we get a little bit more downtime ourselves.
Yes, I'd almost quite like it if the Iskandar was still here to see us off, as it were, since you've seen us this far.
I'd like to. Some of my crew are scattering like the four winds, given the slightest opportunity. But
I can't say I blame them. They've more than earned it.
Yes, that they have. They keep on doing that. So mostly I wanted to wish you well on the off chance I wouldn't get the chance to do so tomorrow. Do you have any... Having had a few days to acclimatize yourself, do you have any idea of what's going to come after the debrief?
Not a huge amount, to be honest. There's some family of mine around on Earth, but they're sufficiently distantly descended. I don't know.
80 years is a long time.
80 years is a long time. So it may well be a case of myself and some of my crew band together and forge ourselves a new path in Starfleet.
That sounds eminently possible. As I say, some things have changed, but many things have not.
Yes, Starfleet does seem to have... Well, it's evolved somewhat. It's still in many ways the Starfleet I knew and loved.
In essentials, it remains the same.
Yes.
If you're going to stay in the uniform, I imagine
With
that
perhaps a few changes.
With a few changes. I imagine you'll keep keep an eye out for, as we discussed, the Terran Empire and its influences.
Yes.
I've done a little bit more reading over the last few days. I had to make some requests to get certain pieces of information declassified.
Of course. This does sound like the sort of thing that would be quite heavily classified, I guess.
Yes, and also some of it has simply just not crossed my path before. It's very esoteric, even by the standards of a Starfleet captain. And I can't say that I ever had...
That says a lot.
James Kirk was not really one of my aspirational figures.
Nor mine. I met the man once.
Really?
In passing.
However, there are something stood out for me, which worries me even more. So when Kirk met the Terran Empire, and he met his own counterpart, the Emperor, Emperor Tiberius, leading this human-centric dominant power. What hadn't been available to me at the time, and which I could read up later, was at some point over the past 100 years, the Terran Empire fell.
I see.
It collapsed, and an alliance of Klingons and Cardassians overthrew it and became the dominant power,
Mm-hmm.
or at least the dominant power of large sections of the quadrant. And we know of this because members of the crew of the Starbase Deep Space Nine had encountered them. They'd had their own crossing over. So the Terran Empire, and that was the last we heard of that was 5 years ago. The resistance of the remnants of the Terran Empire had been on the rise,
Yes.
had stolen Starfleet, our universe's Starfleet technology, including the designs for a Defiant class ship, one of our few vessels ever to be designed, frankly, with warfare fully in mind. We're able to build one and make it operational. And somehow 5 years hence, there are ships, multiple starships operating under the sigil of the Terran Empire.
Yes.
Armored.
5 years is a fast turnaround.
It also suggests to me there have been some hypotheses I have read which have talked about something about the way that multiple realities work, which suggests some kind of, I hate the thought of it as a student of geopolitics, but some sort of momentum. Surely there must be for the idea that there is another Nadari Athan out there. That's against all probability that Nadari Vascan would have been born and then, let alone joined. But what I'm speaking of this because the idea that they also have the class designs for an Intrepid class. If there is not this great momentum of technology, of similarities for some reason, it occurs to me they may have stolen more than simply the designs for a Defiant class.
That is certainly possible. But if true, concerning.
If true, who knows what else they've stolen?
Quite.
What else of our secrets? Why they've stolen it? How they've had these opportunities? Are they still in a position to steal these things?
And what they've developed on the back of it.
Without our governing ethics and principles, I could turn a habitable world into slag with the firepower available on the Iskandar, and she is primarily a vessel of exploration.
Yes.
Somehow we have a blank spot of these people. 5 years have passed, and we have no idea who they are now, only that they are very different from when last we heard of them.
Yes. Which means that there's really precious little we know about our possible enemy.
Starfleet is on a mission of peace.
Yes.
The Terran Empire is not.
No. We shall have to hope that we don't cross their path again anytime soon.
As I have stated earlier to Admiral Lukashenko,
Hope is one thing, but perhaps taking some precautions would be wise.
exactly. Hope alone will not keep us safe.
No, they won't.
Makes me glad then to know that you are thinking of staying in Starfleet.
On the one hand, it doesn't seem like there's many other places that I could go. But even if there were, Starfleet's been my home for many years. And it's still here.
I think many of us find it's where we belong.
Quite.
I will get back to dealing with the dueling demands of many of my staff for who gets to take shore leave, especially as my
Best of
chief of
luck.
security has succeeded in taking it first, and I suspect my chief science officer will be not long after him.
Mm.
So I will let you acclimatize. The replicator is a marvelous construction.
It is.
I will probably see you tomorrow, and if not,
Yes.
Captain, then safe journeys to you and your crew.
And likewise to yourself and the crew of the Iskandar.
Thank you. I'm sure we'll... No, I'm not sure we'll stay safe. We seem very bad at that. But we will remain vigilant.
Yes.
Good day, Captain.
Good day, Captain. And kind of when you left before, she was a bit kind of downcast and looking a bit more troubled. But this time, she's standing up a little straighter and a little more confident in her place in the room. As you go.
Good.
So yes, the next day, the ship arrives to pick up the crew of the Kruskal from Starbase 437. I imagine you're there to wish them off.
Yep.
As you're still around.
I'll be very animatedly telling Kareem, because I imagine we've gone very quickly into actually like Casey's theories and the paper that he wants to write on this.
Have you introduced Strange to him?
We must do this on screen. We can't hand wave this.
No. Let's do that then.
I imagine we're heading towards the docking bay to see the crew off, and like I imagine like it's not like Casey's dragged Strange here without any context.
No.
But he will wave Kareem over.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, this is Adam. He's one of the most important people that I unfortunately left behind. I wanted to bring him with me to see you and just, I wanted to say goodbye and wish you the best in your journeys.
Thank you. Hi, Adam. And fuck, this is awkward calling me.
It is. It's Golluming, and they're both awkward.
Yeah. Strange will shake Kareem's hand. Go, hi, yes, Sam's told me a lot about you. Oh, right. It's good to meet you. Good to meet you too.
I'm looking forward to collaborating with you on this. I really think that our minds together will come up with something truly remarkable.
Yes, there's certainly a very fascinating starting point for conducting potentially for the research, or there's quite a lot that we can to do with this. I'm looking forward to it.
I will be patient, of course, whilst you begin the next chapter of your life and go through what I realise now was quite an unfair amount of recommended reading that I gave you.
No, it wasn't unfair at all. I haven't got through all of it, but that's fine. That means I've got more reading to look forward to doing.
Well,
on
then
the trip
I
back to Earth.
I hope it's useful.
It certainly has been very, very, very useful so far.
Then best of luck, Ensign.
Thank you, Ensign. And got to shake your hand.
He will shake Kareem's hand, but then that hand immediately seeks strangers.
Right, I should be going.
Best of luck.
Thank you, and yeah, I look forward to working with you more later. And he kind of scampers off. Almost.
I don't see the similarity.
No?
No. No, I do.
All right. Yes. No, I can see why you two got on so well, so quickly.
He was friends with Varen.
Oh. Wow. That's...
Heartbreaking, I think.
I assume he knows.
I've spoken to him.
Good.
It's quite startling to realise that what the commander saw in me wasn't just potential, but in some way I must have reminded him of his old Starfleet friend who went missing so long ago.
Yeah.
That's very sad.
It is. But now you can be a friend to him.
I hope so. People do get sick of me.
I think you two will manage to work something out.
Good. Thank you.
Right. We should get back.
Yes. When's our shuttle?
Fairly soon, I think.
Oh, I've not packed.
Oh no, I mean soon in a few hours, not in a few minutes sort of level.
Okay. Okay.
That's fine. You've got plenty of time.
Good.
Do you need a hand?
No, thank you. I should be okay. But come anyway.
And he will.
Yeah.
So the ship that's come to pick up the Kruskal, the Kruskal's crew rather, on docks, flies off. Various members of the Iskandar's crew are going to their various shuttles. And we close the episode on the Iskandar leaving Starbase 437. So you get again that kind of loving shots of the outside of an Intrepid class ship as it flies away. Kind of the shots of the nice slake outside as the camera sweeps round and into the bridge as this kind of flies off. And as we go into the bridge that we go to, it looks a lot like the Iskandar's bridge, the one that we all know and love and have seen many times, but there's something not quite the same about it. It's more dimly lit. It's just something, about it that seems harsher in how it's aesthetically laid out. It's much more a severe kind of place rather than that kind of warmly lit and welcoming place. And there are some familiar faces in the chairs. But again, they're more severe, harsher faces than the ones that we know and love. But in the captain's chair is someone who looks like Nadaria Tharn.
Are the sensors showing anything?
Nothing, Captain. Everything from the ISS Amundsen has gone dead since they went through the wormhole.
Useless fool. You know, I suspect he was too incompetent to incorporate your recommendations of modulations to his deflector array.
An interesting experiment, if nothing else, to see how these vessels can withstand without modulation. Even a failed experiment yields data.
Yes, but I need more than data, Ensign. If we're to find a way through, there are riches and opportunities out there on the other side in that universe. But if you're picking up absolutely nothing, if the Amundsen have gotten themselves killed like dogs, if they've been incapable of even sending a little back, so their deaths might have had something for the glory of the Empire, then our resources are at an end, and we are going to have to make it very clear to our superiors of the failings of the crew of the Amundsen in this.
Thankfully, he stops. He coughs into a hand, swipes away the dark liquid that spills out. Not all is lost. Provided we can find some other guinea pig for the experiment. I know another location for a wormhole not too far away from here. And there are more ships in sensor range.
I'd rather come back with at least multiple attempts of failure than to slink back suggesting all we did was try once and then return with our tail between our legs.
I'll put forward the comms now.
Yes. Let's go hunting.
And the camera pulls out of the darker Iskandar Bridge. Assad twirls her goatee. And the camera pulls out to a view of the ISS Iskandar as it flies off to go hunting. And we end the episode there.
Yay!
Hey.
Ellie, that was super good fun.
Yeah.
That was well played on that improv, by the way, guys. Thank you very much.
Let's just... If there's some scenery I can chew, and if not, get me a large ham.
You gnawed all those large hams. Well done.
That was
universe.
good.
It's not like a subtle insight into anything. It's just
No, it isn't.
evil.
Just evil. You lovely people. But yes, that has been Down the Rabbit Hole. And thank you all in chat for watching. I'm glad you all enjoyed it.
This, our most self-referential session yet.
Yes. An entire session just made up of sadness and occasional cliffhangers.
This was very, very good fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you two had fun. I did.
Yeah, super good. Super good. So, if you caught this and you are new to the channel and you think, hey, that was great, but what about all the context I was missing?
Yeah, bold choice if you're new for this being your intro to...
Salute.
Yeah, no, I applaud you. Oh god, there is actually somebody in
Yeah.
chat who said only one of Dom.
Dom was a very
Well
necessary
done.
amount of salt to the amount of sheer nauseating wholesomeness that's usually in chat. So I, for one, welcomed it.
I welcome Dom.
Yes, I applaud you, Dom, for sticking with this. Even
Oh,
for
God.
you've never watched Trek. Wow, you've made some life choices there, and we thank you for them.
If you want to catch up with the stories of the crew of the USS Iskandar, we have a fairly robust playlist of all of our GMing styles on YouTube. Very easy to find. In a couple of days' time, we'll be putting up this episode to join the ranks. And then on Friday, we'll be publishing our one-shot adventure, which I can't remember what it was called.
Trouble and strife.
Trouble and
Yes.
Strife.
Because wives.
Yeah, I get it.
Space wives.
We can't just call it Sad Wives in Space.
If you want to celebrate us and contribute to the creation of these works, we do have a Patreon. You can find it.
We possibly might have mentioned it at some point. Never before in our lives ever asking anyone for anything. We've now shilled thrice.
But this is where I'm supposed to shill.
We always chill in this bit.
Any contributions will be greatly appreciated, as it will put you on the esteemed list that I will soon be reading out. I will not be doing the facts, for I have not written any facts, and my ad-libbing of essential Patreon facts would be wasted on this opportunity. However, we will endeavour to get some done on the end of the next game, which will be a one-shot run by our very own Kath Stinson. And once I'm done thanking our glorious Patreons, I will be moving on to a screen which will reveal the title of the episode and date of the episode. But in the meantime, if you could put your trash bags together as we welcome and thank our Patreons, Amy C, Andre fuck. I even wrote it down phonetically. Andre Cherepnin. Fuck! Aaron Loki, Caffeine Kitty, Diego de los Reyes, Eligos Alexander, too many Alexanders. Henry Prestige, it's the first time I've ever seen this fucking list. James Malloy, Joanna Marsh, Liz Murphy, Dr. Lou Sutcliffe, Lucas Justinian, Michael Bowman, Michael Crees, Mike Fielding, Mike Kilburn, Red Fox, Sucky, and everyone's favourite Patreon contributor, Helena Handbasket. That last part was really fun to do. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm sorry, Emily, I didn't give you enough time to grab your note.
Yeah, I had another note to hold up, which is the trash bag that loves you all.
Oh, God, that's so
Trash loves you all.
We do love you all.
Trash love.
So, with that trash love and that epic story concluded, I will now move us on to the final screen, and you can mark a date in your diary for the next Iskandar game. Fuck.
We're doing
Bye,
names
everybody.
tonight.
I've got to transition. Bye.